talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Mary Goulet Show, cultivating a rich interior. Now, here's Mary.
Welcome to the program. I'm Mary Goulet, your host, and this episode, these next four, are going to be about what I do for a living, real estate, but in a different angle. And my guests today are Scott Carson and Stephanie Goodman from WeCloseNotes.com. So if you're checking this out, go to their website so you can kind of browse around while you listen to what we're talking about. I find it fascinating. Welcome, Scott and Stephanie.
Good morning. We're excited to be here. Thanks for having us, Barry.
Yep, I'm thrilled. Okay, full disclosure, we met at the fabulous New Media Summit.
Fabulous doesn't say enough.
Anything, right? It is 4 in. How many have you been to?
Just two.
Are you going to come back in September?
Oh, yeah. Steph's already booked the hotel.
Right on. Okay, so listening to this, go to newmediasummit.net and become an attendee, because I loved listening to Caleb Coombs, Who Let the Teens Out? That's his podcast. Mm-hmm. He's 16, and he attended the New Media Summit, and on the last day, I passed him by and I said, hey, nice to meet you. You did a fabulous pitch. How did you like the summit? He goes, I've been to a lot of conferences. This one is my favorite because of the interaction.
Yep.
You get to meet the 40 icons, 150 attendees, almost 200 people there, and the staff, the team, everybody's so great. No one is unapproachable.
Mm-mm. I like to use the term co-opetition.
Co-opetition.
We use it in our neck of the woods, but it's an event where everybody is cooperating together. We're all very competitive. We all have our own shows or want to get booked, but it's all co-opetition. We're all giving best points, and that's the beautiful thing about your show and everybody else's shows. Everybody's got a different little angle, and it's a great way for us to kind of truly meld the minds together of our experiences, whether you're new or seasoned. I took some great nuggets away from people that are brand new. That I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And then, of course, talking with other people that are experienced too, you get a lot of great knowledge and experience that really can add to your show and your podcast.
Yeah, it's so awesome because we can shape our show any way we want it to be. Yeah. You know, I'm on a clock here, but I'm starting a new series of podcasts tomorrow that are going to be 5 minutes. So content's 4.5. So anyone can make it up as however they want to do it.
That's right.
Okay, so you're here because I think you're awesome, both of you. WeCloseNotes.com. Just give me a little bit of an overview of what this is about.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff there. I'm the CEO of this. We're a real estate investment and education company based out of Austin, Texas. And what we focus on is buying distressed debt. So we buy mortgages where the borrowers have stopped making payments or are behind on payments. We buy these mortgages directly from thousands of different banks and hedge funds across the country on a regular basis. And our goal, when we buy the debt, we buy it at such a substantial discount because the borrower hasn't paid in 12 months or 24 months or sometimes 6 years. We buy that debt at a huge discount with the goal being in mind, Mary, that we don't want to really take the property back. We want to buy the debt, and then we like to reach out to the homeowners and try, as I think to coin the term, rehab the borrower if we can. You know, let's try to come to some sort of payment plan. What happened? I mean, I don't care what your country western song was because everybody has one. Let's just figure out a true win-win solution for to keep them in the property, because I would much rather keep them in the property than having to foreclose and take the property back.
Okay, so these are bank-owned or REO? No, nothing.
Not REOs.
What are they?
When it's an REO, the bank's already gone through foreclosure. So it's actually the mortgage. So you have a mortgage on your house.
Correct.
If you stop paying the mortgage, the banks just start calling you on a regular basis, right? Hey,
Correct.
pay me. Well, after you've stopped paying for a while, whether it's 3 months or 6 months or 12 months, the bank is looking to sell the debt, not the house, the debt.
The servicing?
The mortgage itself.
Okay.
The mortgage, the servicing is included with the mortgage.
Okay.
But we become the bank. We literally will buy that mortgage. Let's say you're in California here, say mortgage is $500,000, house is worth $450,000. We'll buy the debt usually at around 50 cents on the dollar of value or less, because now we take on that bank's
burden.
Exactly. We become the bank, and then we make our money by reaching to the homeowner and trying to work some sort of payment plan. Either get them back on time, do some sort of loan modification. If they can't come to any type of situation or payment plan, then we offer cash for keys or let them turn around and sell the property on a short sale. And then worst case, if they just tell us to go pound sand and they don't want to deal with us, then we'll start the foreclosure and litigation process.
Okay. You must have a team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it's not just me and Steph here. Steph's my VP of operations. Does a great job keeping me in line. But I have a team of people across the country. That I have an asset manager that used to work for a major servicing company out of New Jersey. She's handling our borrower outreach, along with working with our servicing company, which is Madison Management out of New Jersey. And they're the ones that are reaching out on a regular basis to our borrowers, trying to get some sort of resolution.
So how did you create something like this that has so many layers and levels and inherent risk?
I've been doing this for over a decade now. So if you think back a decade ago when everything was hitting the fan in 2008.
Yes, perfect timing.
Exactly. I used to be a mortgage broker.
Okay. Now, I'm trying to piece it together here.
Previous mortgage broker, when everything started hitting the fan, I stopped on the origination side and jumped over and started just calling the same banks that I was originating for. And they would send me lists of borrowers and mortgages that were in default. The borrower wasn't paying. And I could cherry pick those lists. I can still cherry pick those lists today.
That's what I was going to ask you. Are you buying a pool or are you buying only, I like this one, I like that one, and they'll let you do that?
Both.
Okay.
Now, some banks, let's make a big clarification. If you've got a mortgage with like Chase or Citibank or Wells Fargo, any of the big 5 or 6, they're not going to let you cherry pick. They want you to buy like $50 million worth at a time.
Right.
And
that's Wall Street.
Yeah, exactly. I'm more Main Street. So we deal with a lot of regional banks that have, they're lending in 3, 4, 5, 10 states. They've got a couple hundred branches. They send us lists that we can cherry pick, or we can buy a portfolio as well. It just varies on what the bank has in their books that they're looking to get rid of.
Very interesting. I used to work on Wall Street, institutional bonds and mortgage-backed securities. So, I mean, we
speaking the same language here, yeah.
Now we are.
Yeah.
Now we are. But it just seems so complicated that you're looking at your books every week, every month to see if anything's falling through the cracks or.
That's why you have to have a team. I mean, I've got a great team that works for me that handles looking at my portfolio constantly on a monthly basis. They're working hand in hand with our servicing company, Madison Management. Now we also, if a borrower stops paying, isn't paying, or won't work out with us, then we have our attorneys actually here in Southern California that handle most of the foreclosure process for us. What's
the percentage that actually go to foreclosure?
A national average, if you buy 10 notes, you probably get 2 to 3 that'll reinstate with some sort of payment plan for you. 2 to 3 that will accept it like a deed in lieu or cash for keys where you can pay them to walk away. And then the other 50% you're going to probably foreclose.
So those cash for keys that walk away, let me know and I'll go and
exactly right.
Fix it up and sell it for you.
That's right. I wish I was buying stuff here in California.
There's nothing affordable.
Nothing affordable. I mean, the stuff that we see here is still pretty expensive, even in distressed debt. I buy a lot in places where we get a lot bigger bang for our buck as far as ROI, like Michigan, Indiana, Missouri, the Carolinas. I've bought a lot in God's waiting room, as I like to call Florida.
Right. It totally is. That in Palm Desert.
That's exactly. Well, I've bought stuff here in California in the years. I've bought here in San Diego, L.A., 29 Palms, Palm Springs.
So the ones that you could do that in California with are the people that had no idea that there were options for them.
That's correct.
Because the equity rise here, it's pretty solid. So my house I've had for 29 years. It's never gone down, but it's maybe stagnated in value, because I'm closer to the beach.
Right.
But there are parts in, Alpine, Hamul, Hemet, and the quantity of units in Palm Desert, Palm Springs, all those areas, Indio, there's like a glut on the marketplace. And there's a lot of second homes there. Mm-hmm. So anyway, fascinating to me because I love real estate and I love getting in on that. And I talked to you about Michigan, Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we have about a minute and a half. A distressed property is what you just described. So people lose their job, they lose their enthusiasm.
They get sick, get laid off, they go through a divorce, some sort of financial hiccup where they just can't pay their mortgage anymore.
And you miss one, it's downhill from there.
For the most part, yeah, 85% of Americans today are still one missed paycheck away from being in default. Actually, the national average is we're still at about a 3.5-4% default rate across the country for even new originations. But 1 out of 10 Americans is a month behind their mortgage already.
Oh, brother.
I know, it's not good. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, we keep talking about a market correction. I don't think we're going to see as extreme here in California as we did 10 years ago. But there's still a lot of places that have just risen up crazy. And we're starting to see that in like Dallas and Houston and some of the other places. Miami's going through that. Some of these places that have rebounded really strong, they're starting to see a dip in the market, and people have been excited to get in the market, have overpaid. And if the market turns south, there's going to be a lot of people that are underwater 10, 20, 30%.
Okay, but the one thing that will at least has been a saving grace is that the regulations for getting a loan after 2008 were so restrictive. It really stopped new loans for a long time.
It did for a while, but subprime is back. They got now call it.
Bam, stated income, bank loan statements.
Non-prime is what they call it now.
Non-prime.
I'm seeing banks and hedge funds and private lending institutions doing like 100% financing with a 520 FICO.
That's crazy. Okay, we're going to cover a lot more content in the next 3 segments, so stay with us on The Mary Goulet Show. We will be right back.
In the military, things can change in an instant. At Navy Mutual Aid Association, we understand because it's our life too. That's why our dedication to serving the life insurance needs of our military veterans and their families is unrivaled. Navy Mutual offers superior life insurance protection without military service restrictions and limitations. A single focus on providing the peace of mind military families are looking for. That's what we do. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve. Call 800-628-6011 or go to NavyMutual.org.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What? Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
I've been bragging about Progressive Medical Center to you guys for years, and I'm so excited to have Dr. Agoli with us because, Dr. Agoli, a lot of people walk through your doors, and some of their biggest problems are they're just fatigued, they're tired all the time, and even though they're dieting and exercising, they cannot get the weight off. Why is that?
It's a combination of poor metabolism, inappropriate eating, but more importantly, it's due to a lack of education and really doing the right testing. A lot of our patients are metabolically compromised. What does that mean? Their metabolism is not functioning. The metabolism is responsible for all physical and chemical processes necessary to sustain life, and that includes energy. And without cellular energy, your body is not going to be a burning machine. Let's get back and teach our listeners to be a fat-burning machine.
It's been a lot easier to maintain my weight since Progressive Medical Center started treating me with all-natural supplements, learning proper nutrition, and that can be you today. No more frustrations about being tired or overweight. So why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today through progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Mary Goulet Show, cultivating a rich interior. Now, here's Mary.
Welcome back to the program. This is a real estate segment. Very cool. We have Scott Carson and Stephanie Goodman from WeCloseNotes.com. Check it out. Okay, in the prior segment, we talked about, one, how you came up with the idea, what is the overall picture of what you do. And this one, how do you make money? What's your highest performing? Because you have so many variables that you're not in control of because you're dealing with other people who are in distress with their property.
Totally correct. Every deal is a different story. You know, some people you want to help out, other people are just using the system, trying to drag things out. But the biggest bang for our buck actually is when we buy this distressed debt is actually to keep the people in their houses if we can, if they're willing to work with us. Now, if they're not going to help themselves, they lie to us, not work with us, then we foreclose and then just either sell the property at the foreclosure auction or take the property back and list it with an agent and sell it.
Me.
Exactly. So that's really kind of, hey, it's worth $500. We bought it at $250. Great. We sell it at 90 cents on the dollar. That's $150,000 in profit, roughly.
Right.
That's a pretty good deal for us, unless it's a dragged out, longer process or
evictions and all that kind of stuff is a hassle.
Exactly. Then you've got attorney fees, eviction fees, rehab costs. That's all going to be cutting your bottom line. And I don't like rehabbing properties from across the country.
Right.
I like Austin. Now, the biggest bang for our buck, like I said, is to actually keep the homeowner in the property. So let's run our numbers.
Let's do it.
$500,000 house.
And the mortgage is?
Let's just say it's $550. They're a few months behind.
Got it.
Okay, about a year behind. So they owe $550. We bought that at $250, at 50 cents of value.
So the bank takes the loss.
They write off that loss off their books.
Okay.
Because they can now take that $250 and rinse and repeat that with originations and start making their fees back. Or leverage it 10 to 15 times. The way we make money is, okay, we bought the note at $250, we send out a letter, we start calling the borrower and say, hey, what happened? Let's try to work a win-win here. Can you start paying on time again?
And are they paying at the 500 level or they're paying at the 250?
They still owe $500. I bought that receivable. Okay, they still owe $500.
So their mortgage is staying the same. Their payment is staying the same.
They owe $550. So I'm going to say, okay, if you can start paying on time again, I don't care that you're a year behind. Start paying your existing payment on time again. After 12 months, I'll forgive the back payments. Or if you pay $100 extra or $200, every dollar extra you pay, I'll match that and forgive that. All right? So there's a lot of creative things that hey, you're at a 7-8% interest rate. Hey, pay on time for 6 to 12 months, we'll drop the interest rate down. You owe $550, pay on time for 12 months, we'll drop it to $500. But the way we make our money is to get them start paying on time. If their mortgage payment on that is what we figure was $2,500 on a $500,000 normal balance.
Right.
They start paying on time. $2,500 times 12 is $30,000. $30,000 in income over a $250,000 investment. It's a 12% return. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
But the big kicker is on the back end.
Okay.
Now they've paid on time for 6 or 12 months. It's now a reperforming note or a performing note. I can sell that note back to Wall Street or other investment firms at 80, 85, 90 cents on the dollar of the value. So now I bought it at $250, got 12 months of payments. A year goes by, I can sell that note at $400, somewhere between $400 and $480.
No way.
Yeah, so we add another $150,000 to $200,000 on the back end. And that's we make money on the front end, along the payment side, and then on the back end. Sometimes, we always like to try to get the borrower to bring a little skin to the game.
Right.
We're not going to say, oh, you got to bring the full 12 months. Hey, can you bring 4 months of payments? Can you bring 2 months of payments? Can you bring something, maybe pay a little bit extra each month? And that's a great way that we make it. Now, this has been going around for years. I mean, every bank buys and sells notes on a regular basis. That's where they make the most amount of their money is in the payment streams. They don't like taking the property back. They want the cash flow. And that's what we look to do is buy this debt, work to get cash flow coming in so it's a lot less work. I don't have to pay attorneys to start foreclosure. The borrower stays in the property. They're taking care of it. The air conditioner doesn't walk off in the middle of the night.
Right.
The copper goblins don't show up and strip it out to the electrical, which happens.
It does. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so we actually like occupied assets. Occupied notes. A lot of people that come from the real estate game, they want, I want the vacant property. I want to buy it and rehab it and flip it. That's great if it's in your backyard. Mm-hmm. But I'm in Austin, Texas. I don't want to work that hard. I'm buying stuff across the country, so we like going after occupied assets because it gives us the most amount of exit strategies to make money. Do we foreclose? Yes, we foreclose on a big chunk of our assets, roughly about 40% of what we buy. But our biggest goal is, like I said, is get the borrower reperforming and really let them have some dignity, right, Stephanie?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So keeping the property, they don't have to worry about moving out, uprooting the kids, paying deposits.
So is it somewhat of a loan mod?
It is. That's what we do. We do a lot of loan modifications.
But you're not doing it just on paper. You're actively, because I've heard people getting loan modifications and they just keep trying to call the bank to see where their paperwork is or what they're doing. But you seem to be more hands-on, really trying to create a solution.
We do create a solution. I've got a very good team, and they know exactly what they do. And we're not going to drag stuff out. I mean, the problem with bigger banks that are trying to do loan mods is they've got an hourly employee who doesn't really care.
Exactly.
There's no emotion into it. They're getting paid their $18, $20 an hour. They got 100 files. If something's not right in the file, they put it to the bottom and then they go to the next one.
Exactly.
We're
that's
not buying.
That's what I'm kind of explaining.
Exactly. It's a process. We've bought loans where the borrowers were trying to do a loan mod for 5 years. I mean, literally, I got the whole file. It's about 2 foot tall with all their hardship letters, and we called the borrower once we closed on the note and said, "Hey, what's the situation?" I said, "Your note's been sold," and they started crying. I was like, whoa, chill out. It's a good day.
Nice.
I'm ready to approve you right now for a loan mod. Let's get this done. I can have you talking with my attorney in your neck of the woods in 48 hours, and we can get you signed and start paying on the path back to recovery.
Oh, my gosh. What a relief. I mean, it's a game changer for people who got hit sideways in life.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do it to ourselves, but we all deserve a second chance.
That's correct. And there's a lot of people that things have happened to them. It's been outside their control. I mean, they were still going to work on time. They were still doing what they needed to do, and then the market changed on them. They had 5 foreclosures on their block, so now their property's underwater.
But that does not limit their ability to pay.
That's correct.
It's what they're doing. Did they buy a boat? Seriously.
No, you're exactly right, because we had that. Everybody was cashing out their equity and going and buying toys, and then for a few years, it was a garage sale economy where they were selling those toys off trying to pay their mortgage again.
Exactly. Okay, so there is money in it, and let's go to your website for a second because I see a lot of training, events. What is, because that's, I have a 3-legged stool, real estate, vacation rentals, and podcasting.
Yep.
Books, all that. Do you have a 3-legged stool over here?
I've got a 3-legged stool. I've been actually buying distressed debt since 2008, and then I started teaching people how to do it because people are like, what the heck is a distressed note?
Right.
I want to learn. Where are you finding these deals? And so I was like, well, I can't buy all the stuff that's on all the books out there. I mean, there's 15 million homeowners underwater at the peak in 2010. There's still about 4 million homeowners underwater still to this day. So I started teaching investors because they came to me, hey, can you teach me how to do this? And so that's what we did. We teach courses. We've got some online training. We've got a specific mastermind where people get together 3 to 4 times a year and we really work on each other's businesses. We buy together. I mentioned co-opetition in the first segment.
Right.
Big believer in that because we get lists in there 400 to 1,000 different properties. I can't buy them all.
So then people pool their money into the investment fund?
No. We don't do that, but
Okay.
we'll do separate carve-outs. Like I'll give you, Steph started as an investor with me. She'd buy 2 or 3. We have another investor, say Daryl Isaacs, who will buy 25. or Jeffrey Wolf who will buy 10. And so we kind of co-bid together. I'll buy 50, and then we all kind of pull our bids, even though she's only buying those, he's only buying those. And so we get, I call it buying at Sam's versus Walmart. We get a bulk discount.
Right. That's
cheaper
perfect.
discount. It's 4 different contracts, but the hedge fund doesn't care who's buying what, or the bank doesn't care. They just want to see some money coming in, and they go from there.
Okay, because I get texts as being an agent. I'll get a random text. Hey, this is Pearl. Do you have any flips or off-market deals? I'm like, dude, I'm in the market. If I do, I'm taking it.
Right.
So they do not understand what you're doing. They're still trying to find that house, the unicorn that they can put lipstick on a pig.
Yep, that's correct.
And sell it. And a margin of $15,000. Here California, San Diego especially, in LA probably.
Oh, yeah.
There are pockets.
Yep.
But we're all vultures here.
Yes.
So we know what's going on in our hoods.
Darn buzzards.
Yeah. So you really do have to go to, like I have a friend who would flip in Arizona a lot.
Yep.
Made a fortune. But he called me a couple months ago and he's like, it's getting too hard. There's no margin, man. There's nothing. One, all the properties are drying up.
Yep.
So I'm going to give him your website.
That's fine.
Because he's got the money. He lives part-time in Arizona and San Diego.
What you have to realize is the note game, it's different than a fix and flip because you do become a bank and you have to really look because you've got, it's not just we get a lot of fix and flippers into the note game. They overpay for assets because they're not considering the foreclosure time frames and the foreclosure
But that's
costs.
why you educate people.
Amen to that, exactly.
And also the price point is less because here our median income is over 500,000 or something crazy like that in San Diego.
Yep.
Used to be 2 something. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, what you buy in one property here, I could buy a block in other places.
That's what I'm saying. All right, we'll be right back on the Mary Goulet Show.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days?
What's that mean? Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Too much to do? Not enough time to get it done? Call on the experts at Another 8 Hours for your business support needs. By partnering with Another 8 Hours, we allow you to focus on the more important matters, like being in front of your clients, doing what you do best, rather than being stuck at a desk poring over paperwork, rummaging through emails, returning phone calls, and struggling to get everything done by yourself. Meanwhile, your family and social life are going down the drain. Go to another8hours.com or call 8 more hours. That's 866-734-6877.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get to the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical. This is your life. Live it well.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Mary Goulet Show, cultivating a rich interior. Now, here's Mary.
Welcome back to the program. Okay, this is our real estate segment, third one in a group of four with Scott Carson and Stephanie Goodman from WeCloseNotes.com. You have not listened to the first two. You want to go back so you understand the context within which you're talking. And now we're getting to some juicy stuff.
Juicy.
Because we're in San Diego right now, and San Diego, California, remote areas might be a good option. But someone like me who wants to have another investment vehicle, how would that work with this program?
So that's a really good question. We get it quite a bit. If you're in Austin, is very similar to San Diego. I haven't bought anything in Austin in over a decade. I'm going where I find deals, where I can find a good return on investment, ROI, but also an ROT, a return on time.
Yeah.
It's important to us all, right? Because a lot of fix and flippers, they get in and they spend a lot of time, a lot of money. At the end of the day, when they figure out their hourly wage, they're working for less than minimum wage a lot of time.
And they're exhausted.
Exactly. It gets burnt out real fast. So our big thing is to get cash flow going. And we've helped a lot of people. We've got a lot of great students who've sat down with our plan of action, said, okay, let's figure out what you need to be making. What do you need to do if you want to leave your job or you want to bring in $5,000 a month in cash flow? Well, if you're buying, you want $5,000 a month in cash flow coming in, let's figure that out. If you're buying assets that are worth $50,000 in, say, St. Louis or Kansas City or Columbus, Ohio is a really hot market.
So wait, what are the price points?
It's a lot cheaper than it is here. Like I said, you buy one note here in San Diego, you buy a whole block in other parts of the country.
That's something else.
So that's the thing. If it's worth $50,000 and they probably owe $60,000, $70,000, you're probably picking it up for $20,000 to $25,000. The debt. And if you get the person to start paying on time at their $700 a month, that's a good cash flow. Yes, seriously. We've helped rocket scientists leave their job. We've helped, he's making six figures, $150,000, $200,000 a year, leave his job because he worked a plan. He bought assets, and over a 12 to 18-month period of time, he replaced his income with cash flowing notes because he bought them non-performing, bought them cheap. He used other people's money, like their retirement accounts, their 401ks, their savings, and it was giving his investors a good return on investment, and he was keeping the difference and able to leave his job.
Okay, so let's say I buy 4 or 5 of those.
Yep.
I don't see any money for 12 months to 18 months.
No, that's not always the case because if you get it reperforming, they start paying in 60 to 90 days. So now you start having cash flow come in.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm sorry, I had to go over in my brain.
That's okay. I saw the numbers being calculated here above your head. But that's the whole goal. If you buy performing or buying occupied assets, you work with a homeowner and very aggressive with our vendors. We don't do it all ourselves. Our vendors do really 90% of it. Get the homeowner to have some sort of resolution. Hey, are you going to start paying? You no pay, you no stay. All right? No soup for you. Okay? If they don't pay, then we start the foreclosure process. And then if you foreclose, you're going to see some bigger checks because you take the property back, you sell it off. A lot of times the foreclosure auction, those are big lump checks. But the performing note side, hey, it's $500,000, $1,000 a month, depends on the payment coming in. You just start figuring out how many deals do you need to close or have performing to help replace your monthly income.
Yeah. It's a numbers game. Pretty
It
much
is.
everything comes down to being a numbers game.
Amen to that. And, this is not, if people are over analytical, this is not really a great aspect for them because there's so many different options that can happen with a borrower.
That's what I'm saying. The variables are insane.
There's a lot of variables. Exactly. So you got to know, kind of got to go with the flow. If you try to always foreclose, that was one of the biggest mistakes I made in the business when I got in my first 2 years. I'm just going to foreclose on everything. I want to foreclose. Well, I left a lot of money on the table. I could have helped a lot of people initially. And I had cash flow coming in versus waiting 6 to 12 months when I foreclosed and then I had to rehab, then list it on the market to sell it.
Okay. So what is a minimum amount of money to make it start to scale? If it's, I love your price point of 50, 60, 70,000. Where the hell is that?
You're not here. But
I know.
You think about that. Just because, when we think about like a $50,000 property here is like a doghouse, right? A garage door in some places.
It's not even a garage.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lean-to.
It's a tiny house.
It's a doghouse, exactly. 10 square feet. But those are great properties in different areas of the country. Indianapolis, a great market. You can evict in 14 days as well in Indianapolis.
Oh.
It's very nice. Plus, it's also pretty fast to foreclose there. Columbus, Ohio, while it might be a lot colder there, it's a very booming economy with the Ohio State University and a lot of the growth going on there. Detroit, oh my gosh. Detroit, I once bought a house for $1,500 and then sold it for scrap metal the next day for $3,000. This was years ago, but we can buy properties, 20, 30 grand there that it would pay $800 a month in rent. That's ridiculous on that. You're buying it for $5,000, $10,000, and you get a payment of $500 a month coming into it.
Okay, because I met at the New Media Summit where you and I met, the three of us met. One of the last presenters, she's the real estate gal. Mm-hmm. She goes to Atlanta, and I think she's doing buy and hold.
Yeah.
Did you have a conversation with her?
She is. She's doing buy and hold. Yes.
And then we had a guest on Reinvention Radio, and she was the one that said, yes, I have real estate, different pockets of investments, and one of them is Detroit. Mm-hmm. I'll go and buy a house for $2,000 here, $2,000 there. What is the best strategy for that? If they're vacant homes, you just buy it and fix it up and rent it out for $500 a month?
You could do that. We see a lot of that. We've driven around and been there. But there's a lot of these banks that we get these lists from. I had one bank send me a list of 500 plus, and half of them were in Michigan. Detroit, Flint, Bay City, Ann Arbor, Lansing.
That doesn't make sense.
It totally does. It doesn't because you're used to the real estate side of things.
Yes.
But the banks have these portfolios that they never say. There's no MLS for a note list. So it's dealing with specific departments inside of the bank called the special assets and the secondary marketing department. These are the two departments inside the banks that have these lists available. And you're not going to walk down to the local bank and say, hey, I want to buy your notes. You've got to get to somebody inside of these departments, either on Wall Street.
Do they just not trust what you would do with them? Or
No.
they don't trust you won't perform? I don't understand why it's so secretive.
Well, because it's just not – most people don't have the patience to call 50 banks to get a bank to say, yes, I have something. Or, the last thing the banks want is a bad PR thing where you buy a note and don't know what the heck you're doing with it.
Exactly.
And so that's why you've got to speak their language. There's a whole lingo that goes along with talking to these asset managers to get on their lists. And they send them out once a month or once a quarter. And then you pick what you want to buy. As long as your money ends up in their account and what you negotiate, hey, you're now the bank.
See ya.
Yeah, exactly. Not our problem anymore. You get to deal with Joe and Mary Smith. But the fact that we buy it at a discount or buy it very cheap gives us a lot of flexibility to really create a win-win solution. It's not always get them reperforming. It's not always take the property back. You've got to be a little flexible. But it's all numbers-based. What's the best ROI on our time?
So you can't – how much information can you get from the bank before you choose which ones you're going to buy?
It's scary.
Yeah.
Name, social security number, last 12, 24 months of payment stream. And then, of course, we do a lot of social sleuthing.
I was just going to say, you got to find out, did they just get back from Europe?
Well, we've had some interesting stories. Like we were getting ready to buy a note on a property in Orlando, and then we jumped online, and the homeowner said, well, I haven't made my mortgage payment in 6 months. Do I go to Disneyland or do I make the mortgage payment? We're like, well, we know what you're going to do. We had another guy that was going through a bit of a transition,
Uh-oh.
He was using what he would be paying for his mortgage to pay for his implants.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. Not quite Kyle Jenner, but anyway.
So people seriously do that?
Oh, yeah. They put all sorts of stuff online. We can find out where they work at. You know, if I see somebody's a part-time manager at Dollar General in Indiana, I can Google what their salary would be and find out what they can roughly afford on a monthly basis. I can find out. I do a name search on LinkedIn to see if they're working. You know, they've got a profile. One interesting thing I bought a note in Columbus, and I found out by Googling the borrower that she ran a house cleaning business in Columbus, Ohio. And so I had other properties in Columbus, Ohio, so I called her up to hire her to go clean my other houses, which she did. She was great, did a great job. I paid her for her time, and then I called her up again. She's like, "Oh, Scott, so good to hear. You have another house for me to go clean?" I'm like, yeah, we have to have a little bit of conversation. Do you know what I do? And I told her what I did. And I said, and there's some good news. I actually just bought your mortgage. I'm now your bank. And she's like, huh? What? I said, I know you haven't paid in 12 months. I know you're a hard worker, though, based on what you've done for me. So let's figure this out really fast.
What happened?
Oh, she's been on time. If she's even more than a day late, she calls the servicing company. I'm sorry. She's great. And every property we buy in Columbus, she's the person I call to go clean out.
That's hilarious. Well, you're Mr. Do-Gooder.
We try to, but then we still have our fair share of people that cuss us up a storm. And
they're just afraid. They're backed up against the wall. They don't realize that there's an option for them. They're doing fight or flight, or they're just being a dick?
In some cases, they do. I get it, and I'm glad to talk with them about that. But there's people that have forged documents with the city, and we've tried to do something. You send them out a payment plan, and then you don't get it, but we send it certified, so we know that they got it. Or they'll go online and make a payment, electronic payment, but they use a fraudulent account. There's people try to play games.
It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. We know we're going to have at least 10 to 20% of our borrowers are going to try to play some sort of game. If that's the case, that's okay. We'll deal with the other 70 to 80. But
your research, your social research before, you can kind of go,
right.
These guys let's give an honest person an honest chance to prove.
That's correct. Because the bank, the selling bank will give us the whole loan file. So we can see what their loan application was, what they were making, where they were working at. We get all the call notes from the previous servicing company, finding out what's going on. So we get a lot of great information that really allows us to really be Sherlock Holmes.
That's cool. All right, one more segment. Let's do it. We'll be right back on The Mary Goulet Show. Stay with us.
Thank you. By listening, you help prove that content marketing works. You need to engage your customers. We provide the solution. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
If you heard that sound, you probably are eligible for insurance from Navy Mutual, insuring the men and women of the Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard. Here's what one policyholder, retired Navy Commander Thomas Dade, had to say.
Navy Mutual is the best insurance decision I ever made. I wish you had a savings plan available that earned the rates my Navy Mutual insurance has been earning.
Navy Mutual Aid Association, started by military members in 1879, serves active, reserve, and retired military today. Navy Mutual honors our military by providing them affordable life insurance with the features they need without fine print, sales fees, or military service restrictions. Value, integrity, trust, and stability are the cornerstones on which our commitment to you and your loved ones are built. Call Navy Mutual at 1-800-628-6011 or NavyMutual.org for your personal life insurance plan consultation. 1-800-628-6011 or NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at which.com, and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICHWICH. Which.com.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
can't speak more highly about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me get my health back, get my energy back. And Dr. Agoli, when I first came to you guys, you found a thyroid problem, and I had no clue, but that's really common with a lot of your patients, right?
Underactive thyroid is the most misdiagnosed condition in the United States. According to the American Academy of Endocrinology, well over 25% of the population is not being diagnosed properly. It's because of the testing parameters. If you go to your traditional doctor, they could be missing a key component. If you have crushing fatigue, inappropriate weight gain, cold hands, cold feet, losing hair, lack of concentration, even headaches and migraines could be caused by underactive thyroid. At Progressive Medical, we get to the root cause of the problem because we are integrative, and integrative medicine is good medicine. We use a combination of medication, natural supplements, diet, nutrition, lifestyle modification, and that's what makes it so unique because we tailor it to your personal needs, and that's interesting because you are tailored.
Yes, and if you want to get your energy back, be the most vibrant version of yourself, you got to get to Progressive Medical Center. I'm so glad I went. Contact them today through progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Mary Goulet Show, cultivating a rich interior. Now, here's Mary.
Welcome back to the program. This is our fourth segment on real estate. So this will be on my site, marygoulet.net, under the real estate tab. I will post these podcasts or MP3s. So I have Scott Carson and Stephanie Goodman from WeCloseNotes.com. Now, we've talked about how you started in this, what was the genesis of it, what are the numbers of it. Let's go to your website because you have training. Does a person have to be a real estate professional?
No, you do not. You don't have to have a real estate license to do this. Now, in some states, like Georgia, they want you to be a licensed mortgage broker. Other states want you to have your servicer licensed in that state as a debt collector. But for most part, you don't need to have licenses to do this, which is great. It's just the fact that, hey, you just got to know what's going on in each state. Each state's a little bit different foreclosure time frame. That's why we always tell people, listen. That's why we started teaching, was that there's so many different moving parts to it, so we like to teach people that.
Okay, so what was the impetus for you to, did people look at you and go, what are you doing? I want to learn about that like I did.
Yeah, well, it started actually kind of funny. I was doing deals, and I'd post to Facebook, and I had some group call me up, some big real estate seminar, asked me to come in and talk about the deals that I was closing. I flipped a 7-unit apartment complex here in San Diego, made $70,000 in 24 hours. And I flipped a 16-unit in L.A. and made $100,000 on a wholesale fee in like 30 minutes. And they're like, how are you doing this? Where are you getting these deals from? And so I went and spoke on stage, and I got bombarded at the back of the room once I got off the stage. Teach me. I was like, okay, yeah, I got a course. That was 2010. And I was excited. We do a really good job with it. I was actually the educator of the year a couple times in my little niche. And we do, we believe in providing real tools to our students. So I'm not one of these guys that likes to blow a lot of smoke, and you see that. There's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there in the real estate education industry. We're a big believer that if we give you the tools and we show you exactly how we do, you're either going to run with it and do it, or you're not going to do it. And that's normal across the board.
Now, do you have competition?
Yeah. There's about 3 or 4 other people that teach this niche of real estate investing.
Well, even just doing it, because some people teach, but they really don't know they can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we do this. That's why we call the company We Close Notes, because instead of We Teach Notes. All right?
Right. We try to close notes.
Yeah. Now, I've bought and sold over $1 billion in distressed debt in the last 10 years, residential and commercial deals. We've got a couple hundred assets on our portfolio right now that we own that we're working through. Constantly buying, constantly looking at assets. I'm actually looking at a portfolio of 64 performing notes from a bank that we'll probably end up buying like 23 of them. So I walk the walk. I don't just talk it.
Do you ever have investors come through and say, I like what this is, I want to keep it?
Yeah. We do that. And we just basically figure out, okay, what's the buyout clause on that individual asset?
And what would be an example of a buyout clause?
So, let's say we bought it at 35 cents, and then our normal sales price would be 85. So we would just figure, okay, what's the split in that? And they just write me a check for the difference. So maybe it's a 40% check between the 30 and then the 80, 85, or figuring out what the return is. If it's been reperforming, I like it as well, then we'll just do a split of the cash flow. So there's different ways to structure it depending on what they're looking for.
Yeah, so you caught my ear when you said apartment buildings. I've always wanted to have fourplexes.
Well, I look at apartments as being something that's more than 5 units. A fourplex is great. A fiveplex is great. And you still see a lot of that stuff. That's actually,
you do.
You still see a lot because those are low valued assets to consider to a bank for the most part. A bank like single family homes or commercial property, they actually really prefer mortgages on commercial properties that are $1 million or greater. Anything that's below $1 million in value, they still have it in their portfolio, but it still costs them just as much to do that little smaller asset as a bigger asset. They just don't make as much. So we see a lot
and their risk would not pay off as much.
That's correct. And so we still see a lot of that stuff hit the books. Now, don't call me, hey, I want to buy an apartment. It's a 100-unit apartment complex. No offense. That's the most overpriced asset right now in the market.
Isn't that funny?
It is. And I'm just waiting because a decade ago, that's what I was basically buying most of the time was small 20, 30-unit apartment complexes from Capital One or Wells Fargo Financial back in the day. But now, we bought a lot of residential. We'll still this is a funny story since we're in California. I'm looking at a distressed mortgage on a dispensary and a grow house, actually from a bank right now.
Where is it located?
L.A.
Really?
Yes. The bank wants it off its books because they didn't realize it was a dispensary.
We'll talk after the show.
That's another type of cash flowing green asset.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
But it's vacant.
No, they're both occupied. Just the bar is continuously late. So the bank wants to get it off their books at a discount.
Wow. This just makes me so excited. I love this. I'm not on a huge scale, but a 4 to 6 unit apartment.
It's great. We have a lot of people that love that. We see that stuff all the time. It may not be here in San Diego, but there's great places and there's property managers everywhere is what we try to teach. Iowa? Well, yeah. No. If you like it that cold, sure.
Well, no, because my niece lives there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we've been trying to figure out a way to do deals. She's a project manager for huge commercial jobs.
Oh, okay, nice.
She's pretty high up.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But once you get the bug...
You get the bug.
Yeah. So is the training affordable? What if somebody goes through it and they're like, I don't got it. I can't do this.
So there's our trainings. We have an online training platform. Our no buying blueprint's like $1,000. It's 30 modules. Plus they get involved in our large online community as well. So they can network with other investors. They can raise capital. We're very hands-on in following up with our students. There's a message board that they get my email, cell phone number. Like I was answering a text message on the way over from a student buying a deal in Tampa, Florida, actually, just recently. And so we're very interactive. And then the beautiful thing is our community is just really good. We've got a private Facebook group where everybody's working together, like I talked about earlier on, in believing in co-opetition. And it's a much smaller niche. The note investing side is there's maybe 10,000 total note investors in the country that do what we do.
That seems like a lot.
And it seems like a lot, but it's small when you look at like the 500,000 fix and flippers or the 1 million plus landlords out there. So it's a very small niche when you look at it that way. And the thing is, we've also got our podcast, the Note Closer Show, too, where we go through a lot of information, a lot of vendors and students and investors that come on that show. And we spend a lot of time going through education.
So your vendors are not just strictly corporate vendors.
That's correct. They're servicers. There's people that are there to work with our investors. They're working there with our students on a regular basis, where it's like Pro Title USA, which will help you pull O&E reports or title reports, or it's Madison Management who will help you with the servicing side, or it's the Singer Law Group out of Irvine here that'll help you with their foreclosures, help you find an attorney to foreclose, or it's the Franco Barillo Law Firm out of Columbus, Ohio, will help you foreclose in Ohio, Michigan, or Indiana. So when we talk about vendors, it's not just, hey, they're here for a promotional thing. They're actually people that we talk to on a regular basis that are working on our behalf to help us close more deals.
Okay, so with the last minute of the show, is there anything we don't know that you want to share, or one nugget of advice if somebody is intrigued about this?
So if they're intrigued about it, just go check us out online. We've got tons, literally about 1,000 plus videos on YouTube of different webinars.
Under We Close Notes?
Under We Close Notes. YouTube.com/We Close Notes is our homepage for the videos. Or you can just go to WeCloseNotes.com. Links to all our social media, links to hundreds and hundreds of webinars on specific subjects, case studies. You can also check us out online, or just look for Scott the Note Guy. Carson.
Scott, the note guy. Scott A.
Hey, that's right. A.
For A.
We're on
game.
Radio Live. I can't say what I was going to say.
I think I got the word. No, it's been so wonderful having you both here.
Hey, Mary, thank you so much for having us. Honored to be here. And glad to help anybody out there. You have a question, go online, drop an email. We're glad to help answer any way we can.
Yeah, it seems like it's another option for someone who's doesn't have, $5 million to invest.
That's correct.
But they can find something across America. Try it out.
And that's the thing. Over a decade ago, you had to have $5 million to really kind of get in this game. But with everything that happened in 8, 9, and 10, it's opened up a lot of opportunity for smaller investors.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. All right, this is the Mary Goulet Show. Check us out on marygoulet.net.
I've been bragging about Progressive Medical Center to you guys for years, and I'm so excited to have Dr. Agoli with us because, Dr. Agoli, a lot of people walk through your doors, and some of their biggest problems are they're just fatigued, they're tired all the time, and even though they're dieting and exercising, they cannot get the weight off. Why is that?
It's a combination of poor metabolism, inappropriate eating, but more importantly, it's due to a lack of education and really doing the right testing. A lot of our patients are metabolically compromised. What does that mean? Their metabolism is not functioning. The metabolism is responsible for all physical and chemical processes necessary to sustain life, and that includes energy. And without cellular energy, your body is not going to be a burning machine. Let's get back and teach our listeners to be a fat-burning machine.
It's been a lot easier to maintain my weight since Progressive Medical Center started treating me with all-natural supplements, learning proper nutrition, and that can be you today. No more frustrations about being tired or overweight. So why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today through progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life, live it well.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business. I wanted to let you know that our newest book, Scale, was just released and to encourage you to get your copy. The book will give you 7 proven principles to grow your business and get your life back. Scale will help you work less by getting your business to produce more. Get your copy online or at your local bookseller. For more information, visit us online at scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com.
I have some good news for a change. With the stressful times upon us, having a regular glass of wine has proved in many studies to reduce stress. Want some more stress-relieving tips? VinVillage.com is an exciting new social organization connecting wine lovers around the country with an exclusive local and online wine lifestyle experience. Vin Village members can meet others online and in person, attend wine dinners and tastings, participate in forums, blogs, and wikis, purchase limited and exclusive wines, even create your own wine. You heard me. Create your own wine. And best yet, membership is free. So reduce some of the stress and have some fun. Join now and connect with thousands of other like-minded wine lovers. To learn more, go to vinvillage.com. That's www.vinvillage.com. Vin Village is where wine lovers connect.
Kenja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of universal talk laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal talk laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations. Kenja Dixon shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book comes with a chance to win $10,000. Find Universal Talk Laws at kenjadixon.com.